Horsey? Are you okay, Horsey? Wait, why do all my animals spin around like this? Hello there, and welcome back to AlphaCraft. I know it's been a while since I made an AlphaCraft video, but, you know, sometimes life just throws little obstacles at you from time to time. You just have to do your best to handle things and try to get back to the fun when you can. That said, I've been playing, but I just haven't had the time or the energy to put out the videos, but today we're gonna put that behind us. So what have I been up to, you ask? Well, I've been trying to focus on a bit of the non-pranking life for a bit. I mean, pranks can be fun, and I have been having a lot of fun with the Alpha since arriving, but at some point, you have to find something else to do, not only so you don't become the person who just runs around annoying everyone, but also so you can lull people into a false sense of security before you spring the next prank on them. No, but seriously, I do actually do stuff that's not prank related. I've just been having some fun exploring that side of Minecraft for a while. Now I know I'm the oddball when it comes to things like this, but there's just something about the grindy tasks of Minecraft that I like. It helps me take all the swirling thoughts bouncing around inside my head and just calm them down for a while. One of those grindy tasks I've been working on is helping to extend the Nether tunnels further out. I'm currently working on the northern tunnel, which it helps me, but also helps everyone who placed their base out in this direction. The bottom layer of the tunnels is just 3 stone steps side by side, and now I know it's not much, but every large project starts with something small to get it going. I'm setting the foundation for the tunnel. Later, someone will come along and finish off the rest of the floor. Someone will place the ice on top of that. Someone will build the pillars, then the ceiling, and then the walls. And you take all those little steps together, and eventually you get a nether tunnel. And speaking of nether tunnels, I need to fancy up my connection to the main tunnel, and right now it's just a hole tunneled through the netherrack with some cobble bridges in the gaps. It's functional, but, obviously, we can do better than that. Now, here we are in my creative world. Most builds I just make up in the moment, but sometimes you want to try out ideas or block palettes, and that's what this place is for. My branch of the Nether tunnel is going to be one of the bigger projects I do this season, because the tunnel is going to be roughly 270 blocks long end to end, and I'm going to be looking at it every day, so I need to come up with something that I like. Here's all my floor design ideas, and for the Nether tunnel, I just wanted to use a diorite palette. I like diorite. I love that they made calcite, and really wish Minecraft would make some stair and slab versions of it, because why wouldn't you? So I came up with this design that would repeat on the floor for the full length of the tunnel. Then I tried covering it with glass and found I couldn't see any of the detail of the floor, so I just went with calcite, because if you can't see any of the details through the glass, then what's the point in doing any of it? And so I didn't really like this, but the whole point of the glass is to keep things from spawning in the Nether tunnel, because I don't want to constantly run into piglins and hoglins. But this just didn't click with me, because checkerboard is fine for smaller areas, but the tunnel's going to be 270 blocks long. That's going to be a little annoying for the whole length. I tried playing around with the G logo, but been there, done that. I don't want to have 100 G's on the floor, but I tried this idea with the glass, just a white fading into gray, fading into black, fading back into white. It's just an idea, just playing around. I kind of liked it, but it wasn't really working. But you get a kind of an idea of where my brain was going. Still using the calcite underneath, because even though calcite doesn't provide any light, it is a bright block, so it'll make the tunnel brighter. And here I tried versions of diorite and calcite just to see what I could do with it on a wall. And I could be a wall, but I didn't. It wasn't really clicking for me. And so here I tried a slightly different glass pattern, and I like this one because the black, white, and red are the colors of the Gragore or the GGG logo. It's also the color on my shirt on the sweater. The G's are red, and the P2B on the back is in white. So I kind of like this. This will work. I tried doing it on the walls as well, but then I had a problem where it didn't wrap around, and it's like, well, if I can't do it on the ceiling, then what's the point of doing it on the walls? And the whole point of the glass is the floor, so we're just going to stick with glass on the floor. So then I tried out ideas for pillars along the walls, and this is a little short, but I'm just testing out the basic idea at this point. I used quartz here, but I've never really been a fan of quartz. I mean, I think it looks great in other people's builds, but every time I try and use it, I just get that, nah, I don't like that feeling. Then I was playing with having light behind the trapdoors, but I didn't like being able to see through all the air gaps in the trapdoors. But I feel like I'm getting closer to what I want, but it just isn't quite working for me. And over here, I tried some very basic ceiling ideas, just throwing some ideas out there and see what sticks. I'm thinking I want the ceiling to be darker since the floor is going to be so bright under any illumination. We'll see how it all goes. This is also something I was trying for the hallway design, like an endless series of flower, what would you call this? Little flower sections, because my base is in a flower forest, and Obviously, I'm obsessed with flowers, if you've ever watched any of my videos, but I don't like that. I've never liked how the flowers take up so little space. So this is kind of how my brain works. I have a little idea, I try it out, and I try it out again, but nowhere on here do I have a full tunnel. But here, this is a more finished version of the pillar I think I'm going to go with. I'm still trying things out, but I definitely like that I can't see through, and I'm using frog lights there to provide some light. But I like this design of the wall itself. This is for the closed-in sections where it's surrounded by netherrack on all sides. But I was thinking maybe put a glass window for the areas where it's out in the open, and you can see out in the nether. You know, just throwing stuff, just spitballing, throwing stuff out there. But, you know, like I said, this is how my brain works. I just do tiny little parts of ideas. Same way I approach a project. Do a little part of it and see what you come up with. Because for me, my ideas are always changing. I very rarely have an idea in my head that's fully formed. It's just, let's throw some glass on the floor, put some deep slate on the ceiling, and we'll see where we go from there. Like I was saying earlier about the main tunnel, the key for me to finish any large project is breaking the project down into smaller and smaller tasks. Part of the reason is large tasks can get overwhelming if you focus on the whole thing and try and build it all at once. But also, we all know the pain of an overwhelmed inventory, so by breaking things down like this, I can make progress on the whole project and not have the headache of constantly swapping items in and out of the hotbar. So I started with the calcite that goes under the glass, then placed the glass over the calcite, and then I decided to add a line of stone brick stairs on the sides, mainly as a way to draw a distinction between floor and wall. The walls won't look anything like the floor, so that line kind of serves as a segue between the two. But I chose stone brick stairs as a way to also tie my tunnel to the main tunnel. This way, even though I have a completely different block palette, it also sort of acts as a way to minimize the cut and paste look of two different block palettes right next to each other. So far, so good. Next up was expanding the tunnel to make room for the walls, followed by placing the bases of all the pillars. To get all the trapdoors to trip up, I just needed to place a lever on the back of the frog light. Then, the first layer of the walls themselves. Then the blocks of netherwart behind the deep slate. Then I put in a row of deep slate stairs between the pillars. Remember, the goal is no mobs can spawn in the tunnel, so it's kind of a choice between stairs and slabs, and black stairs just look better next to the gray stairs. Sort of an unintended gradient effect. Then I realized that the wall would look better with a bit of added depth, with the deep slate tile blocks being replaced with more stairs. This will allow for more detail later while removing one more possible spawning location. Then it was up to building the pillars up to ceiling height, followed by filling in the detail of the walls. And all those small tasks came together like this. At the entrance of the tunnel, I thought, what better way to announce you found Gragore's tunnel than 2 large G's? And for anyone thinking, well, what about the third G? Well, you'll find him down at the end of the tunnel at his base. Now, as far as the walls go, I really like how this design came together. One detail that really stands out to me is how the darker deep slate tile works to add the illusion of depth when placed next to the deep slate bricks. It's a flat surface next to the pillars, but it looks like the bricks stick out from the tiles. Then you add in the actual depth from the stairs and the different height of the bricks to the tiles in the middle sections, and it's just a wealth of depth and detail with very little effort. The original idea was to exactly mirror the top and bottom, but I noticed when walking down the tunnel that the top half just didn't work and it couldn't be seen that well. So I decided to lower the center block and place a lantern there to add a bit more texture and light to the tunnel. Now all of that was built from inside the safety of a netherrack tunnel. Once I got out to the open air section, it became obvious that ghasts were going to be a constant issue. Not sure why so many were always spawning around me. I mean, it's not like I was in a Soul Sand Valley or anything, but that forced me to build a temporary housing around the tunnel I'm building, just so I could build in peace. Now, to build the ceiling, I chose to build it from above versus messing around with a lot of scaffolding down the whole length of the tunnel. It may have been a bit more exciting with all the gas, but it saved a lot of time. Now in the open air sections, I did some basic landscaping and lava fall placement so that when someone looks out a window, there's something interesting to see. As far as these windows go, I really like the checkerboard pattern in the glass. It's just more interesting to look at than one flat color of glass. Probably not the greatest way to see what's on the other side, but this isn't reality, this is Minecraft. And there it is. After weeks of picking away at it little task by little task, my nether tunnel is finally complete. I really like how it all turned out, though with all the ghast and piglin fighting and it being 270 blocks long, I really don't want to look at it anymore. But seriously, I think it all came together very well. Considering at no point did I have one complete design to work off of, it turned out all right. I mean, even that peek into my creative world to see how I work a build like this was a little deceptive. It's not like I worked out all the design elements before I started. I worked out a design for the floor, then I built the floor. Then I worked out a design for the wall, changed it 3 to 4 times when I ran into issues in the actual tunnel, and then built the walls and pillars. Then I had to come up with something for the ceiling. It's definitely not the best way to do things, but it tends to work for me. Be sure to let me know what you think of it in the comments below. But that's going to be all for today. I was hoping to get around to showing off a bit of the base today, but I guess that will have to wait around until next time. But until then, I have been Gragore, and this has been AlphaCraft. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, always try and find a way to make it fun. See ya!